Let's continue with the NBA though. NBA playoffs was supposed to start this weekend.
Yep.
Right? Man, that would be nice right now.
I know, yeah, that would be great.
Right, that would be really nice right now.
Yes, I'm so sad they're not starting.
Yeah, it was supposed to start, but coronavirus, man. It was actually reported this week that several players in the NBA have tested positive for coronavirus, but they're not putting names out for privacy reasons, and I'm sure they don't want to panic people.
Yep.
They might want to drop and stuff like that. So I commend them. And players are still getting the coronavirus. Von Miller this week, right? That's right. And the linemen from the Chargers, they got it now.
The Rams actually with their center, Brian Allen.
Yeah, people are still catching this stuff, and that's why we don't have the playoffs right now. But if they were supposed to start right now, we'd have the Lakers facing the Grizzlies. Well, we'd have the Grizzlies facing the Lakers. And then we'd have the Mavericks going against the Clippers. We'd have the Rockets against the Nuggets, and Thunder versus the Jazz. That's in the Western Conference. In the Eastern Conference, we'd have the Bucks versus the Magic, Raptors versus the Nets, Celtics versus 76ers, and Heat versus Pacers, right? So those would be the matchups if the NBA playoffs was supposed to start how it's supposed to regularly start. And they did that with the seedings that everybody has currently too. So there's a couple of interesting matchups in there. What do you guys think though with these matchups?
I think they're pretty good matchups, particularly out in the Western Conference. I like the Nuggets and Rockets one. That's the 3-6 matchup. I think that will definitely be one hell of a series to watch and fun to watch. And what's interesting about that series is that you have a contrast of two playing styles. With the Nuggets, they like to play more big. They have Jokic, they have Paul Millsap, two very good skilled, big men that, can do, that are versatile, can do multiple things. And then you have the Houston Rockets, who are all about the small ball right now. They're all about, the guards and the wings and, the three-point shooting and, and spreading the floor and making you guard the whole length of the court, with their outside shooting and ability to drive to the basket. So that will definitely be a really, fun and exciting series to watch. And then I also like the Utah Jazz and the OKC one. And I think that will probably would have been the most competitive series in the first round in the West. And I would definitely have seen that going into being a long series and going into a 6-7 game series, because I think those teams are that close as they were in record, being only one game apart.
Who you got in that series?
In that series, I would probably take. That's a tough one. I would probably take the Jazz just because they would have home court advantage. But I could see the OKC upsetting the Jazz as well. I wouldn't be too surprised about that. But I'd probably lean towards Utah just because home court, and we all know how important and huge home court is in the NBA playoffs. That would be definitely one hell of a series to watch, and probably the best series in the first round with how close those teams are and and how and how competitive but they are. So that'll definitely certainly be fun to watch in the West.
Yeah, Flag.
I think the matchups. This will be the first round, so the good matchups are pretty obvious. Like Nugget Rockets, is my top matchup in the West. Besides that, I feel as though the home team will win the other matchups. Like Lakers are gonna beat the Grizzlies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Clippers are they have to beat the Mavericks. That'd be shocking. Jazz versus Thunders. I think like Bear was saying, that is a close matchup, but I have to give it to the Jazz. The Jazz, they've been knocking on the door the last couple of years, and I feel as though for them to, if they fall to the Thunders in the first round, that would have been crazy. So I think the Jazz has to take that. The Nuggets versus the Rockets, that would have been a really nice matchup to watch. Especially to test the small ball strategy that they have going on. But I think the Nuggets would have won.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, definitely the Nuggets and Rockets is definitely a crazy matchup. I don't see the Rockets winning against that just because they don't have any big men, and old buddy over there, what's his name, the sneakerhead kid,
PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker, would get rocked,
Well,
for
he
a
gets cooked.
7-game series against Jokic. It's like,
Yeah,
Exactly.
I get it, you're a good defender, but you're pretty small versus this guy, and he's gonna abuse you for 7 games straight. You're not winning.
If it goes that long, right?
And the Rockets would have had the game where they weren't making the threes anymore.
Oh my God, that's all they rely on. Everybody shooting the threes and spacing the floor and letting James and Westbrook, just drive in there. And you could see Jokic just manning it in there, and you can't even go in there. So good luck to that. Jazz and Thunders, I'd actually like the Thunder versus the Jazz, just because I feel like they got so much confidence going into it. Chris Paul and the young guy, they're working pretty great over there.
Alexander, right?
Alexander, they're working pretty great, and they've had some time off, man. The other series that actually worries me is the 76ers versus the Celtics.
That worries you?
That actually worries me, right?
Well,
Not last year. I mean, we beat them in the playoffs the last time we met them, but then this year we beat them one time?
One out of the 4 times that's in the regular season, right?
And our starters have been injured a lot throughout the year, and we can't seem to have 5 starters in the game, for more than 2 games before somebody gets injured and somebody else like Marcus Smart has to step into the starting lineup.
That's true, but this is the playoffs. Y'all don't feel like you necessarily have to worry about that.
Ben Simmons was injured, and now he's healthy again. So they're bigger than us. We have Daniel Tice and Grant Williams.
And it's cancer.
And it's cancer going against Joel Embiid and Al Horford.
It's been trash this year and been inconsistent up and down, and he's been going through some injury.
We haven't done well against like really big guys, really big teams this year, right? In my opinion, anyway. What I've seen, we haven't done it. They've abused us on the boards, and for me, I don't think it's a cakewalk this year. Last year against the 76ers, the last couple of years, we've had their numbers for the last couple of years, but then we've also beaten them in the regular seasons too. And then this year, we have a better team, but we're not winning, and they're dominating us on the glass.
That's true. I get that, John, but the other thing you have to think about is how poorly the Sixers have played on the road this year. They're among the worst teams on the road in the NBA. They're as bad as a lottery team, as a team that's going to get a high pick in the lottery when they play on the road. When they're at home, they're great. They're as good as it gets in the NBA, and they are definitely an elite team when they're playing at home. But since the Celtics would have home court advantage in that series, and I think in that last game and matchup that they did play the Celtics and Sixers, I think the Celtics were able to figure some things out and do some things that they weren't in the first 3 games. I think that certainly would help their confidence and their ability to be able to beat the Sixers. like, yes, the size, lack of size would be concerning in that series, going against, Embiid, and Simmons, who like to, play big and go into the paint a lot, and and score from the post. I definitely think that certainly our team defense would have to, be really good in that series, because they wouldn't be able to guard those guys one-on-one, particularly Embiid, who absolutely, like you said, torched the Celtics in the post, and they had no answer for him. So, but like I said, he's been up and down this year. So he's with injuries and just his play in general. So you really don't know kind of which Embiid you're gonna get. But no, I still feel pretty good about that matchup if I'm the Celtics, even with their struggles against the Sixers.
Yeah. But
year.
that's what I'm talking about, though. They're one of the best teams playing at home, right?
Correct. If you get them outside of Philly, they're garbage.
It's a 7-game series, so that means we're going 7 games if that's the logic we're using, right? That if they're one of the best teams at home, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be slouching at home in the playoffs against us, right? And they play much better. And they've gotten a lot of time. Well, I think all the teams have gotten a lot of time.
Right,
Together.
Say that about any team.
But I definitely worry about them being in our first round. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like with the Celtics, the 76ers being their first round, because usually we're warming up to go see them, right? This time we start off with them right off the bat. They're not the Pacers, right?
Not right. They're not. They're much more talented and better than the Pacers.
And
right.
Our teams have been going 7-game series for the last couple of years. Like we've pretty much been in 7-game series every series we go into. I don't think
with the exception of that Pacers
one.
Series.
Yeah,
right.
We won 5 games, right?
No, it was a 4-game
in the 5th game we won.
It was a 4-game.
We swept them?
Yeah, last year.
I thought they won one off.
No.
I'm thinking about the 76ers when they won that one against us when we got them in 5. That's what I'm thinking about.
Right.
But yeah, that's the quickest one I can remember it. I don't know. We haven't been doing good in the playoffs, even though we do have the better coach on the bench with the X's and O's.
That's true. And coach is always a factor in the playoffs for sure.
But Vlad, what do you think about that?
I mean, if I put together what you're saying, John, and what Barry's saying, it equals to the same thing. Barry's saying they're a bad playoff team away from home, but they're really good at home. And you're saying it's gonna be a really tight series, which means it's gonna go to Game 7. You know what I mean? And
that's why I'm worried.
Yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried as well. I don't think it's gonna be an easy. I don't think it's gonna be a cakewalk. That's for sure. I mean, the Sixers they've been a decent team this year. Really, actually a pretty good team. I mean, even though they've been pretty bad on the road, I just think this year, if that's a first round team, it's gonna be a long series. It's not gonna be a swept or a 5-game series. It's gonna be a long one. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Peace out.
Peace.
All right.